The Cardinals, Jay, are kind of forming a fantasy Ponzi scheme here.
I don't know what this
Get blown
team
out in the
is.
first half, then rack up insane garbage time points through Jacoby Brissett to Trey McBride and Michael Wilson.
Yeah,
Michael
47 completions. No one's ever had more.
No,
Michael Wilson. Trey McBride, by the way, is out of his mind. And
Yeah.
Trey McBride wants to fight everyone around him. I love it. It's funny because when we interviewed him, he's very nice.
He was great.
Oh, yeah.
Friend of the podcast, Trey McBride. We love McBride.
very fun.
He's on
Taunting-
the wall, and we appreciate that.
The taunting penalty was, in a year where it's been a bad year for the refs, that was up there with the worst of them.
Yeah.
You can't signal first down anymore?
No, it's unbelievable. And after that, he did it the next time, and he didn't even get a first down, but he just did it live, which is fantastic. I love Trey McBride. But look,
We're big
Jacoby
fans
Brissett,
here.
for our purposes, he's shown that he can clearly distribute the ball to the people who need it. And right now, the people who need it are Trey McBride and Michael Wilson. So Michael Wilson is wide receiver 2 going forward while Marvin Harrison is out.
Unbelievable. We talked about this when the injury happened, and I wouldn't say we expected this, but we did say we like this. Like I think the phrase that I used last week was Jacoby Brissett understands the assignment. Get the ball. It's the Josie theory. Get the ball to your good players. He got it to Trey McBride. He got it to Michael Wilson. My desperation play, Greg Dortch, goes 6 for 66 with a touchdown. Didn't have a massive target share here, but got you points where you needed it here. But yeah, Michael Wilson has the most receiving yards by a player in a game this season. Had a 32% target share in this one. It's his first game this season above 16%. He was averaging just 25 yards per game. Now, the question here is, what happens? It's the same with Sean Tucker. Like, as brilliant as this game was with Michael Wilson, if Marvin Harrison Jr. comes back this week, we don't know. We knew he was going to miss just this 1 week with the appendicitis, and it might be longer. So we'll track that as this week goes on. But I feel like if Marvin Harrison Jr. comes back, then it's just like, thanks for your service, Michael Wilson, but hard to count on him for consistent fantasy production when you've got MHJ and McBride. But it was an unbelievable game for him, and it's just nice seeing that that when given the opportunity, Wilson has that skill in him. Jacoby Brissett, by the way, is like Joe Flacco West. The same thing. Like he chucks it. He doesn't care. He's got 0 Fs left to give at this stage of his career.
They're down big.
Yeah.
I don't understand is how you
and
can
he's good enough to get the ball to his play. He's a professional quarterback.
I don't understand how you can set the NFL record for completions in a game and only have 21.9 fantasy points.
Right, it seems almost impossible. Damon Troy, by the way, said Brissett is the new Blake Bortles, saving fantasy lives by the millions.
That is a great call. Although I would argue, Flacco is the new Blake Bortles, and Jacoby Brissett is the new Flacco. Flacco at this stage.
Flacco's out. Flacco's got to resign from the mantle after yesterday. He did nothing.
It was a tough one.
Yeah.
The pick 6 was the final.
That was a tough day at the office. So I don't know that there's much more to take about this, but just since taking over the starter, again, Blake Bortles, for all of Blake Bortles' flaws and sins, he was a top 12 and top 10 fantasy quarterback because he was a junk time merchant. It was unbelievable. And so, Jacoby Brissett, since taking over the starter, he's QB4 on a fantasy points per game basis, right? He's been a top 12 quarterback in all 5 games this season. Like, he's a QB1. He's doing what Kyler couldn't. Kyler wasn't a QB. Kyler was not a top 12 quarterback every single week. Jacoby Brissett they're home to Jacksonville next week, then at Tampa Bay. So the next 2 line up pretty well. Just last thing on this game here. There's been 14 games between Brock Purdy and George Kittle when they played together. And in those 14 games that they've completed, that they both stayed healthy throughout the game, George Kittle is averaging basically 17 fantasy points a game, 16.9 to be specific. So, it's just that connection is awesome. There's an argument to be made that, Kittle with Purdy is right there with McBride.
Yep.
And Bowers is like number 1 tight end in fantasy. Like, they're all like.
Those would be the top 3, those 3 and Tyler Warren.
Yes.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.